Eugene.
Thank you very much. I think first of all to thank Muliro and the other presenters, and to say I think he has really raised what the other presenters had raised, right from Margaret, who started us off, to Kwame, to Masinde, and to himself. And what he talked about was the issue of breaching the social contract, the issue of the tax burden actually, overburdening the ordinary citizen. I think Margaret said it's only up to a point, then it becomes counterproductive. And that overburdening, I think you put it very eloquently in terms of reaching a level where it actually breaches that social contract. I think from the presentations we've had, I want to thank you very much for joining us and making very specific recommendations. I think Masinde had a very interesting analogy of the mosquito net, where the citizen in a crisis during COVID, there were many safety nets that were put in place to cushion the citizen from the harsh economic adversities that came with COVID-19. Some of the things that we did at the time, because I was in that administration, was the reduction of taxes. You have talked about that tax burden. The other experts have talked about reduction of certain taxes. But at the height of COVID, I think we did reduce certain taxes, including the income tax from 30 to 25%. We had the VAT itself. At the time, I think we were at 16%. We reduced it to 14%. And we had other tax waivers for those low-income earners. And I saw in your presentation, you're saying those at the bottom are the ones bearing the greatest burden when we're overburdening the taxpayer. And we had a cutoff for those who are earning 24,000 monthly salaries and below. We cushioned them against this. I think other COVID interventions that we have put touch on the education sector, and I think you have recommended more investment in education. We have the infrastructure, building classrooms and desks, and many other interventions across different sectors. So what would like you to probably, I don't know if you're following your other presenters in terms of the specific areas of reduction. So the issue is not if, it is how we can reduce this burden that is a real serious challenge to the taxpayer. And we don't reach a situation where we have the situation like arose in the Bible of Balaam and the donkey, where the donkey was overburdened to the point of actually talking to Balaam. I think where we've reached in Kenya today, Kenyans are like that donkey that had to talk, go to the streets and talk and say, this burden is too much. So we are looking at the areas where the burden can be reduced for Kenyans to breathe in terms of short-term and in terms of long-term interventions. So as you conclude, probably we already have what you have presented, but if you have anything more in terms of specific areas of reduction, we'll be very happy to receive your written presentations, in addition to what you have presented, which really, really agrees with what the others have presented. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugene. Catherine?
Thank you, Arthur, for your presentation. You have actually touched on many issues, especially when you look at the cost of living in terms of food and the poverty level, food poverty level.